I regret to inform you the men are not okay.
There is a crisis in our culture of lonely, disaffected young men, but anyone who speaks up for them is villainized.
It's like, how the fuck did they not see where that was going to be a disaster in the future? Like, there's a whole generation of guys that have no girls. It's like, what are you going to do?
It's the 1950s and everything's going very well. Cities are becoming bigger, people are becoming wealthier, and society is in a golden age. The 1960s brought about profound shifts in attitudes towards women and the freedom of sexual expression. In the 1970s, the famous hippie counterculture that began as a show of anti-war sentiment began to take steam, and with it, drug use and sexual openness started becoming accepted and mainstream. In the 1980s, the IBM personal computer was released and a certain thing called the internet started gaining prominence. I wonder if that will be important later. The 1990s, the Cold War finally ends and a new age of peace and prosperity awaits the world. And then, in 2007, the first iPhone was released. Things can get better, can they? With all these new technologies and a new way of life, people started becoming more depressed than they ever were, and Gen Z was like the guinea pig for this societal experiment. Now we see where this experiment is headed. A recent study from Harvard suggests that almost 40% of Americans are seriously depressed. A study from 2021 shows that 22% of high school students had seriously considered suicide in the past year. There are many reasons in the increase of loneliness and suicide ideation. Being lonely doesn't actually mean being alone. It means feeling alone. It means being with other people who don't really care about what you're saying and are just waiting for the opportunity to chime in the conversation to talk about their opinion. It means feeling misunderstood and without a real social connection. Things like social media, porn addiction, and the messed up dating market contribute to this. One of the biggest problems is the fake world that social media depicts. TikTok is the worst of them all, because it gives a spotlight to the most disgusting clout chasers. We see people do all kinds of stupid and self-harming trends just to get their 15 minutes of fame. This creates a generation of attention seekers. But that's not all. Instagram, though not as bad as TikTok, creates unrealistic standards for everyone. All the luxurious lifestyles, the beautiful and expensive cars, watches and homes. They show the best parts of your life, cutting out all the dull moments, and you can use all kinds of filters to make your pictures look better. This creates a rift in the dating scene, because most men get almost no attention, whilst most of the women want to be with the best men out there. Because think about it, if you're a 5 out of 10 or more, why would you settle for someone who's on your level and not try with the top 10%? This makes for a toxic environment for everyone, especially for most men. Because of the fact that they can't really get any girls, they sink into degenerate habits like watching OnlyFans and The Hub. This addiction can be the trigger that makes you spiral down into loneliness. It emulates the real experience, releasing dopamine, but in the end, you always want more. It makes you unsociable and weird, which keeps you in the hole of addiction forever. All these symptoms culminate in the biggest problem that our modern society has, and it's not the loneliness epidemic. That's a symptom as well. The real problem are weak men. Even though the situation seems hopeless, there's something that you can do about it, and it is to improve yourself. Work relentlessly, beat your addictions, achieve your goals, and remember,
do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.